that I've known for years. We follow each other on Twitter, and he put something up on Twitter that it was almost like, man, he took the words out of my mouth. It was just thinking the way I was thinking, because he pretty much said that, he played football in high school. This particular person I'm talking about, he was even saying that, man, just after when you see this type of stuff happen, and it's not like we see this specific type of thing happen on a regular basis, but we know it's a very violent sport and a very dangerous sport. In any given moment, it can be one play, that can be the end of your career or your life, right?
That's right.
He pretty much was saying in his tweet that he just doesn't see a way that he could allow his son to play this sport. And this is the person who played the sport. Now, see, for me, I did not play that sport under the whistle growing up. I might have played, flag football or played in the neighborhood, that sort of thing. But mom, I don't remember if it was you, but mom would have let me play football, coming up.
Well,
and I was the firstborn, so she wasn't trying to put me out there in that way. Kobe, once he kind of took a more of a liking to football in high school, compared
Well, it was
to
actually junior
compared
high.
to basketball.
Yeah, it was junior high school when he really started showing an interest.
Right, but what I'm saying is, once it was kind of clear in our family that Kobe wanted to go in the direction of football over basketball, maybe at that time you guys were like, what, Kobe seems passionate about this. We're gonna let him get out there and pursue this. I'm just gonna be honest. After seeing this situation with Hamlin, and I was even feeling this way before that. I don't have kids yet. One day, I will, and I just cannot see myself allowing my son to play the sport. As much as I'm entertained by the sport, and I respect the guys that have the passion for that sport. I mean, I watch it. I'm a fan of it. But it used to be hard for me to go to Kobe's games, man, in person and just hear the contact and just watch it, because you're just kind of cringing. When you have your loved one out there, that's why I can only imagine how his family feels, because when you have your loved one out there on the field, it's like, for me, I was cringing every time I saw Kobe get tackled or have to tackle someone.
Well, I'm going to tell you something, man. It was hard to finally release and let him play the sport because we kind of fought against it. I think when we first saw that he had a talent in the sport was when he was younger. And he was like in the 6th grade or something.
Right, I remember that.
And he was playing flag football. And he was just kept on running circles around these kids. And I'm like saying, hold on. I'm saying, man, this might be the sport for him. But of course, we weren't in support of that sport because of the, the injuries and the chances that he could get seriously hurt. So we kind of stayed away from him. Finally, he got into it when he got a little older. And I'm telling you, man, every game we praying before the game, believing for the best for him and for all those guys out there, because it is a violent sport, and anything can happen at any time. Right. You could fall funny, you could get hit in different places, and then at that time was when it was a lot of concussions developing. So they were trying to get specialized helmets for the high school students at the school. So Kobe had gotten a really good helmet that was supposed to help protect against that. But even in that, I think he got a couple concussions. And after he got that second concussion, we kind of just said, and that was like at the end of the senior year. It was like, okay, well, we're not looking at college. That wasn't even in the cards. And he really wasn't trying to push forward anymore like that. So I was happy about that. I mean, I enjoyed while he was in the sport. And I think that's what happens with a lot of parents. The challenge is when you have kids playing that sport at a real young age. Yeah. Because who know? I mean, we see Tua. We see what he's going through right now. Second or third concussion on the season. Right. Who knows how many concussions this guy's had since he first started playing the sport of football at a young age? Who knows? You know, they're tracking it. They're tracking it now. I didn't know who Tua was up until college or the end of his college career, and then moving into the pros. So just imagine. I mean, I've been to football games for kids where my godson plays. I've been to games where, I've seen, a kid. This was actually maybe like 5 years ago, where a kid is kind of dazed, comes off the field, he's one of the best players. Coaching staff is just checking. You okay? Come on, man. You all right? Okay, all right. But you're gonna get back out there in a couple plays. And it's like that was just like 5 years ago, around 5 years ago. Hey, look, football is a different type of sport, but most sports have some type of danger where you could get a serious injury. I mean, when you look at
Boxing.
NASCAR driving, you know, you can get in an accident and lose your life there.
Look,
boxing, you can get concussions and brain damage from that. We've seen people die in the
hockey,
boxing ring.
Sports like that. Yeah,
hockey. You know, all these sports have a price to pay, and that's why you got to go in there in prayer. You got to go in there with the best protective gear that you possibly can get.
But it's only so when we're talking about football, though, it's only so much you can.
But the thing about sports,
and Ray Lewis has talked about that. It's gonna be a dangerous and violent sport regardless.
Right.
Even when they try to make it safe, I don't think that you can really make the sport of football safe.
Well, they can't make it
less
safe.
Dangerous, maybe.
Right. They can't make it safe, but they have made some changes to the sport that are helpful. But I still think that they're going to have to make more changes. Spearheading, I think they have something about that. But sometimes you don't necessarily know if you're going to hit somebody helmet to helmet. So there are things you can't control sometimes.
And then there's a technique to how you're supposed to tackle, and a technique to how you're supposed to, you know, kind of, I guess, prepare yourself for that type of contact when someone's tackling you. So some of these things you're not trying to, like you know, I don't know who the name of the player was who had the football at the time when the situation happened to Hamlin. I doubt that he tried to do something that was out of bounds. Exactly.
Yeah, he's just playing the game of football, man. Just like everybody else out there. And like you said, you see injuries. You just don't want to see people so aggressive and taking dirty shots at guys.
Right.
And things like that. And I think you still can have a competitive type of sport if you clean it up more. I know a lot of people had some issues with it, but if you talk to a lot of veteran players, which we even know some of that dad knows.
Yeah,
my dad knows.
My grandfather knows.
And man, I'm telling you, man, some of these guys, you know, Lionel Mitchell, guys like that. Right. And some of these guys, you know, they can tell you stories about the injuries that they have and some that have now. And I think that's one of the
difference in equipment and protective gear back then. Compared to now.
I mean, Jim Brown, man. I mean, he used to have all kinds of guys hanging on top of him, man, trying to stop him. Can you imagine how many people had concussions back in those days and they didn't pay much attention? And now, you know,
before people were paying attention to CTE. I just want you guys to hit that subscribe button and become part of our world and become part of our community. So we're looking forward to it.
Love to have you.
Batman, Robin, MJ, Scotty, I'll do that for now.
Y'all find out the truth when you tune in.